Welcome back, my guys. This time we're going to go over the Elemental Shaman secrets, items and gear in Classic that you can use in TBC. Let's get started. First off, as always, my co-authors and contributors. Massive thanks to Egregious and Bojangles for all the information and overall huge brain Elemental Shaman knowledge. All right, why should you care? There are many items that you can obtain during your adventures in Azeroth that can be used for leveling, dungeons, heroics, and some are even pre-BiS for raiding when you enter Outlands. If you get these pieces, keep hold of them and you can find yourself saving some time, sanity, and even some gold. Yes, I'm aware that some of these items listed that you're about to see on the Classic side are not prioritized to Ele Shamans, okay? I still listed them because it is a possibility for some of you guys to get these. Also, as a side note, Ele Shamans have a ton of options for gearing since they can use cloth, leather, and of course mail. Not only that, but Ele Shamans can actually use quite a few of these Classic pieces if they can get their hands on them, of course. Also, a lot of this depends on what patch Blizzard launches at. This is all presuming 2.4.3. Once we find out which patch they've decided on, all the pre-BiS lists for each class will be redone and updated to match. In the meantime, I hope this helps. So to start, guys, we're going to go ahead. I'm going to give you the Classic side and the TBC side. I'm going to show you what the P6 looks against the T4 Pre-BiS. That easy, guys, okay? So to start, we have out of Nax with the Preceptor's Hat, there's 18 stamina, 24 intellect, and 51 spell damage. And out of BWL, you have the Mish Circlet of the Mind Flare, 24 intellect, 9 spirit, 15 stamina, 35 spell damage, and 28 crit rating. And of course, TBC side, we have your first piece of crafted BOE. This is called Spell Strike Hood. This is a tailored cloth item, 12 intellect, 16 stamina, 3 sockets, a red, yellow, and a blue, 24 crit rating, 16 hit rating, and 46 spell damage with an 2-set bonus. Gives a chance when your harmful spells land to increase your damage to your spells by 92 for 2 seconds. This is huge. We'll get into that in a little bit. In engineering, we got the Gadget Storm Goggles, 28 stamina, a meta and a blue socket with a 5 spell damage socket bonus, which is nice. 12 crit rating, 40 crit rating, 12 hit rating, and 55 spell damage. And the last is the Lightning Crown. This is 43 spell or crit rating and 66 nature damage. Real quick about the Lightning Crown, while it is pretty good, 1, you're gonna replace this with your spell strike anyway, and 2, this can be expensive as fuck, and it's suggested that you spend all your money on your professions, because as an Ele Shaman, you will be going tailoring for the spell strike set bonus. You need at least be 350 for it. You can buy these off the auction house, but you have to be 350 in order to wear them in order to get this bonus, okay? So you're gonna be tailoring for 350 for this, and you're gonna be leather working for another set of clothes that you would wear, and the bonuses and the drums and everything else that goes along with it. So you're really not going to be engineering, okay? And there's no point in getting this. All that is going to be very, very expensive. Leatherworking is expensive, especially it's not expensive if you're just crafting drums, but as in a shaman's perspective, you're actually crafting the leatherworking set, another strike after it. So it's kind of expensive. Tailoring can be expensive as well, okay? So I wouldn't really worry about Lightning Crown. We're gonna put that one in instead, okay? Shamanistic Helmet of Second Sight. This is from a quest. This has 3 sockets, a 5 socket spell damage bonus, 24 crit rating, 35 spell damage, and 4 MP5. Okay, 4 MP5 obviously not that big of a deal. So all right, straight to the point. You're gonna want your spell strike hood. Like I said, it's that good. You mix this with your spell strike pants, so not only are you pumping, but it handles a small issue with hit that you need. You guys don't need that much hit after you get all your gear anyway, but this solidifies that. In the meantime, your classic pieces will not hold up. Yes, you can get through leveling with ease and as well as dungeons and even heroics, but eventually you'll want to drop whatever classic piece you do have for a quaint little quest drop called the Shamanistic Helmet of Second Sight. All right, simply just use this until you can craft your spell strike hood, or rather you can buy the spell strike off the auction house. Like I said, it is a BOE. You just can't get this set bonus right here unless you have tailoring. So you can just buy this off the auction house if you have the money for it as well. So just get your tailoring at 350. It's not that expensive to get the 350, a little bit, but it's not as bad as if you need to get Frozen Shadow Weave or Spellfire or anything like that. So you're just got to get it for the bonus, right? There's no reason for you not to be, obviously. However, if you are for some reason engineering, like you're a PvPer maybe, or you're not, you don't care about PvE, then obviously you want to go for Gadget Storm Goggles. It's just not, that's the only reason that you'd wear this is if you're PvPing, I think, right? I can't think of another reason why you would not be tailoring. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Neck. On the classic side, we have out of AQ the Amulet of Vec. This is 5 int, 9 stamina, 27 spell power, and 14 crit rating. And then the Choker of the Firelord out of Molten Core, 7 int, 7 stamina, 34 spell power. And then you have out of Slabs normal, heightened potential, 15 stam, 14 int, 9 hit rating, 14 crit rating, and 22 spell damage. Out of a quest at a Blade's Edge Mountain, Natasha's Ember Necklace, 15 intellect, 10 crit rating, and 29 spell power. And on the bottom, we have 2 BOE jewel crafting necks. Both of them, like I said, BOE. One improves your crit rating by 26, your hit rating by 16, your spell pin by 15, and increases all spell damage up to 34 for all parties. Okay, once you use it, it lasts Was it 30 minutes? I think it lasts 30 minutes. I'm pretty sure it lasts 30 minutes. And the other one is Chain of the Night Owl. What you do with these is you cycle them in. These are utility necks. I'll get there in a little bit, right? But these are 2 craftable BOEs. They're crafted by jewel crafters. They're not only used by Ele Shamans. I'm a Warlock and we use this in raid. If we're progging, we're cycling these out a lot of the time, especially in T4, T5 content, okay? Most casters in this group are going to be using this. Like I said, they just get rotated and it's party-wide. It's a party-wide, but these are really good for Ele to use since you're already a support class. It just adds your utility, making you even more of a big dick utility class, and we love it. Outside of those, for your neck, both classic pieces are exceptional. Choker the Fire Lord is a straight 34 spell power, while Amulet of Vec is insanely good, and you could easily walk into T4 wearing this unless you really need this 9 hit from Brooch. Next up, shoulders. All right, I had 2 out of Nax, Bolter's Elemental Fury and Rime Covered Mantle. One is over here with 19 stamina, 21 int, 26 spell power, 14 crit rating, and 8 hit rating. And of course, Rime Covered Mantle, the big clothy one, which would be hard for you guys to get. 12 intellect, 12 stamina, 39 spell power, and 14 crit rating. Over here on the right side of the TBC side with Cypher's Damnation Questline, Spalgers of the Torn Heart, 7 intellect, 8 spirit, 10 stamina, 18 crit rating, 40 spell damage. And as Slightpin's Heroic, Polgers of the Wild Magic, this is 21 stamina, 28 intellect, 23 crit rating, and 33 spell power. All right, so for shoulders, it's pretty simple here. All right, the classic shoulders are nice, and you can do that. Both of these are pretty much on par with their T4 counterparts. However, Spalgers the Torn Heart are from a quest line that everybody does, so there's no reason really to not wear these. You can see how it's like a slight one. This is proud not to you, so it might be hard for you to get, but if you do have it, if you look at it, it's 1 spell power and 4 crit rating lower, so technically it is lower. It hurts, but it's whatever. It's from a quest, you'll get it regardless, no matter what. Okay, as for the shoulder enchants, the Nox one is not only better, but Ellie's tend to always go scryers for the trinket in the ring, so stock up, and you're not going to be alders until T6 usually, so stock up on the Scourge Nax ones. Next up, cloaks. Out of AQ, you have the Cloak of Devourer. This is 10 int, 11 stamina, 30 spell power, and 8 hit rating. And then out of Nax, you have the Cloak of the Necropolis, 11 int, 12 stam, 26 spell power, 14 crit rating, and 8 hit rating. On TBC side, you have for 25 Badges of Justice, the Shawl of Shifting Probabilities, 18 stamina, 16 intellect, 22 crit rating, and 21 spell power. And then out of Quest, had another Storm, Cloak of Woven Energy, 13 intellect, 6 stamina, 3 spirit, crit rating by 6, spell power by 29. And out of Quest of Nagrani of Ogre Slayer's Cover, and of course out of Mech Normal, you have Baba's Cloak of Arcanastry. Don't worry about them because you're not going to be wearing them that much, because here we go. Fresh Shivers, they're nice. You got a lot of cloak options here, okay? And I'm happy to say, once again, the classic items are amazing. Both of these cloaks can be used in the T4. AQ Cloak is lovely if you still need your hit, while Cloak of the Necropolis would carry you well into T4 until you get your cloak from High King Mulgar, which would replace all this anyway, okay? Also, this saves you from having to spend badges on Shawl like you normally would have to on a Fresh Shiver, which is freeing up 25 badges for you to spend anywhere else, like your trinket, your shield, so on and so forth. Easy. All right, guys, next up, chests. On the classic side, we have out of Nax, Crystal Webbed Robe, 25 stamina, 19 intellect, and 53 spell damage. And then out of AQ, you have the Garb Royal Ascension. This is 21 stamina, 25 shadow res, 30 spell damage, and 16 hit rating. And this is your first time seeing the crafted leatherworking bind on pickup nether strike breastplate. These are huge for you guys. 34 stamina, 23 intellect, 3 sockets with a 5 spell damage socket bonus, and then 32 crit rating, 37 spell power, and 8 MP5 with a 3-set bonus of increases your spell damage by 23. It's pretty huge. Out of Quest, from turning in a quest at the end of Aconite Crypts, this is Aconite Anchorite's Robes. This is 24 intellect, 3 sockets, the 4 crit rating socket bonus, 23 hit rating, and 28 spell power total. And then out of Arc Normal, you have Tide Fury chest piece, 700 armor pretty much, 28 stamina, 22 intellect, 3 sockets, 5 spell damage, 10 hit rating, 36 spell power, and 8 MP5. And lastly, Will of Edward the Odd. This is 30 intellect, increase your spell crit rating by 30, and then 53 spell power. So a real quick thing about Will of the Edward, yes, it's good. However, it's not worth the money to buy the BOE because you want to craft your Nether Strike set as not just the breastplate, but all the other 3 sets as quick as possible, okay? If you're banked up, then feel free and get it. Just know that even something like Anchorite's Robes up here are going to be, these are only 10 less spell power than Edward's, and actually has 5 more crit rating after you put the sockets in. And it's from a quest from a dungeon that you'll end up doing 6 million times. So we're just gonna go ahead and get rid of these ones, okay? As for classic side of things, I highly doubt an Ele Shaman will be able to get Crystal Web Robes. However, if you are able to, just use those until you pick up Aconite Robes I was talking about earlier. Tide Fury chest piece is a very good option if you need to hit, but I highly doubt you're gonna need to hit. All right, my brothers, next is Bracers. On the classic side, we have the Rock Fury Bracers, the good old Stomper, 7 stamina, 27 spell damage, 8 hit rating. Out of AQ, you have the Burrowers Bracers, 61 armor, 13 intellect, 10 stamina, and 28 spell power. On the TBC side, of course, the legendary leatherworking Nether Strike bracers, 13 stamina, 13 int, 1 socket with a 2 spell damage socket bonus, 17 crit rating, 20 spell power, and 6 MP5 with, of course, the 3 set for 23 spell power. And on the last two are bracers of havoc. This is a crafted BOE cloth item. Tailors can make it. If you're already tailoring, you can make it as well. It's really cheap. Either way, cheap on the age to buy as well. One yellow socket, a 2 crit rating bonus, and 30 spell power. And lastly, another BOE you can pick up. Crystalloid bracers. You know, I mean, they're not as good as, it depends. Either way, you're gonna want spell strike, right? I mean, not spell strike, I'm sorry. You're gonna want another spike. Whether you want to sit this until you have it or this until you have it. I mean, this one is 23 spell damage and 12 crit with 1 socket. This is missing the crit, just 30 spell power flat with the socket. Up to you. Either way, needless to say, this is the goal. Pick which one you want until then. That's it. All right, gloves at AQ Dark Storm Gauntlets. This is 37 spell power and 8 hit rating. And then, of course, on the TBC side, you have your mana etched gloves, 25 stamina, 17 intellect, 2 sockets. Don't worry about the socket bonus. 16 crit rating and 20 spell power. And then, of course, you have the Earth Mantle hand wraps. This is 21 stamina, 18 intellect, 2 sockets with a 3 intellect socket bonus, 16 crit rating and 19 spell power. And you have 2 BOEs down here, Thundercaller Gauntlet and the Gloves of Pandemonium. One is in 18 crit rating, 35 spell power. The other one is 22 crit rating, 10 hit and 25 spell power with 15 int. So it's nice, especially because it has a spell power crit and hit on it. Gloves. Once again, to be honest, these classic gloves are really good. Sadly, they're just as simple and there is just simple and easy obtainable item upgrades, like in mana etched and Earth Mantle. You know what I mean? They're just slightly better. They're going to be better. The sockets are going to make them better. So that's what you're going to want. They're more or less the same item. Mana etched and Earth, they're pretty much the same item, except for one is from heroic and one is from normal. Okay. So like, obviously go get the Earth Mantle. If for some reason you're severely hurting on hit, which you shouldn't be, but just in case you are, definitely run these mana edge with the 2-piece, because the 2-piece, I think it was 35 hit was the 2-piece for mana hit edge. Could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, anyway, so just go ahead and get these from Steam Vaults normal, baby. Belts. AQ, at a classic AQ, I stock Waist Cord. 9 intellect, 10 stamina, 14 crit rating, and 41 spell power. And of course, the TBC side, the last of the Nether Strike piece, 10 stamina, 17 int, 2 sockets, 2 gem sockets, socket bonus for 3 crit rating. Ooh, 16 more crit rating on top of it, 30 spell power, 9 MP5. These are just so good, man. Girdle Ruination. This is a BOE expensive belt crafted by the tailorers. 18 stamina, 13 intellect, 2 sockets for the 4 stamina on the socket bonus, 20 crit rating, and 39 spell power. And then lastly, a Doll's Gift. It's a Quested Arc. Don't worry about it because you're not going to be wearing it. And then Mana Tomb's Heroic Liftline Sash. 21 stamina, 23 intellect, 2 sockets, socket bonus of 4 spell damage, 9 crit rating, and 30 spell damage. Once again, telling you, you already know what's going on here, guys. The goal is Nether Strike, okay? In the meantime, Eye Stalker Waist Cord is really good stat wise. However, it's sadly missing the gem sockets that the TBC gear has. Thus, if you'll replace this as soon as you farmed enough heroic mana tomes for the glyph line sash, or if you want to spend the money on girdle sash or girdle of ruination, which at first glance looks better, but remember that the Nether Strike bonus is 23 spell power. And also girdle will be expensive as shit because it's pre-BiS for a lot of casters. Well, pretty much for all the casters. Good old Pantalones legs. On the classic side, I had a 2-headed Nax. Legs of Polarity, 20 stamina, 14 int, 44 spell power, 28 crit rating, and leggings of Elemental Fury, 26 stamina, 27 intellect, 32 spell damage, and 28 crit rating. Pretty nice. And of course, TBC side, the connecting piece of the 2-piece of the Spell Strike tailoring set. 3 sockets, 6 stamina to the socket, gem socket, 26 crit rating, 22 hit rating, 43 spell power. There's so with a proc of 92 spell power on the thing. I don't have it here, but that's what it is. At Underdog Heroic, you have Stormsong Kilt. This is 25 stamina, 30 intellect, 3 sockets with a 5 spell damage on the socket bonus, and 26 crit rating with 35 spell power. And lastly, you have the Horde side and the Alliance side. The Horde side is, these are the exact same stats. Horde side is Tempest Keep, or Tempest Leggings. Alliance side is Kurani Kilt. They both have 11 intellect. They both have 3 sockets. They both have 2 MP5 on the socket. They both have 18 crit rating, and they both have 44 spell power. So the classic pants here are rather underwhelming. Surprisingly, I think it's just because of the sockets. So really, the sockets are a really big deal. Not only because you want to get these in a hurry, craft these right away, but they even lose out to the alternatives. That's the thing. Just use whatever classic pants you have until you have the rep for your revered pants. Tempest Leggings if you're Horde, Kiarani, or however you say that, Kiarani Kilt if you're Alliance, and just use those until you can afford to craft or buy Spell Strike pants. A friendly reminder though, Spell Strike is a bind on equip, Okay, meaning you can purchase it from the auction house, typically between 2 to 3 gold each. So 2-3 gold for this, and so about 5 to 6k gold for the set, right? However, you need to have tailoring to get the 2-piece proc. So just remember that. Next up, boots. On the classic side, AQ boots at Epiphany and Enigma boots. And then I think this is from a world boss. Correct me if I'm wrong. Boots of Fighters from a world boss. 12 int, 10 spirit, 11 stamina, 34 spell power. 34 spell power on the boots of Epiphany with 19 int, 8 stam. And Enigma boots had the 15 int, 9 or 6 spirit, 15 stam, 28 spell power, 8 hit rating with 4 MP5. Boots on the classic side is only 2 you need to worry about. That's Arc Normal Sigil Lace boots. That's 24 stamina, 18 intellect, 2 sockets, 3 int on the socket bonus, 17 crit rating, 20 spell power, and then lastly quest Shat Wrath jumpers. Out of the Shadow Labyrinth at the end of the quest, 25 stamina, 17 intellect, the blue and a yellow socket, 3 int bonus, 29 spell power. Boots, while the classic boots aren't too far behind the TBC options, because they're really not. It's just that these 2 godforsaken gym slots right here that you're getting from Sigil Lace boots and Shat Wrath jumpers, mixed with how easy both of these are to get, will make these pull ahead, far ahead of the AQ ones, or maybe, well, any of these really. So just wear whatever classic boots you have until you do the dungeon that gives you whatever, it gives you the boots that you want, okay? Next up, rings. Out of AQ, Ring of the Fallen Gods, 6 intellect, 5 stamina, 37 spell damage, and 8 hit rating, out of Nax, Ban of the Inevitable. 36 spell power, 8 hit rating. There are quite a few rings on the TBC side. Out of Shadow or Sethic Hall's normal first, you had Band of Frigid Elements, 13 intellect, 17 crit rating, and 30-40 your nature spells. For 25 badges, just Ring of Cryptic Dreams, 17 stamina, 60 stamina, 17 intellect, 20 crit rating, 23 spell power. Seer's Signet, 24 stamina, 12 crit rating, 34 spell power. ROHF normal, Sparkling Arcanite ring. It's a really good ring that a lot of people use. 13 stamina, 14 intellect, 10 hit rating, 14 crit rating, 22 spell damage. And lastly, a BOE Dream Crystal Band, 15 crit rating, 37 the nature spells, and Mana Storm Band, of course, 29 spell damage and 10 crit rating. Okay, so as with most other classes, Elemental Shamans have a metric fuck ton of options on rings, and I won't go over all of them. Just know that the classic rings are very, very good and should be used if you need that last little bit of a hit. Just use those in the T4, I'm sorry. Otherwise, you're going to want to swap those rings for some crit ones. All these are viable options for your crit. However, Band of Frigid Elements, while slightly annoying to get it before patch 2.0, and down here, Dream Crystal Band will pull ahead due to the extra spell power and crit. Woo, Trinkets, baby. All right, before we begin, let me talk about it. Dark Moon Card Crusade deck. This is from after you collect the Blessings cards, you turn it into Dark Moon Fair. It turns into this magical trinket. Each time you deal melee or ranged damage to an opponent, you gain 6 attack power, not important, but you gain 8 spell damage. For the next 10 seconds, it stacks up to 10 times, capping at 80. Okay. So before we begin with the many trinket options, let me give you a quick side note on this. It is insanely good early on. However, not only is this patch dependent, but it's also super expensive. On top of needing the entire deck of cards to get the trinket, so people have to find the cards, put them on an auction house, and you need a ton of gold to purchase all the cards. I paid on average about 20,000 gold on two different servers. I'm sorry. Thus, getting the trinket is not. It's not getting this trinket pre-raid is not logical. I've never had this before my first Karazhan run. I don't think anybody really does. But if you're lucky and banked up, get it if you can. Obviously, it's insanely good. However, 98% of the population won't have this, so let's remove this from the list. Anyway, trinkets. At a BWL, the Natural Alignment Crystal for Shamans increases spell damage by 250. This is an on-use trinket, and increases the mana cost by 20% for 20 seconds. You have Nel's Tier. This is 44 spell power and 16 crit rating. And of course, Mark of the Champion. This is 85 spell damage to anything that's undead or demons. And then Restrained Essence of Sephiron. That is a 40 spell damage with an on-use of 130 spell damage for 20 seconds. Over here on the TBC side, you have for 41 badges, Icon of the Silver Crescent. This is a direct upgrade to Restrained Essence, 43 spell power instead of the 40, 155 on use instead of the 130. You can see that's the exact same thing, just a little bit better for a lot of badges. You have Quag's Eye, a Slate Pin's Heroic. This is 37 spell damage with an on use with an equip that your spells can proc 320 haste for 6 seconds. And of course, you have the Scribe's Blood Gem. You already know what it is, 32 hit rating, 280 spell damage on use. And lastly, Shafar's Nexus Horn increases your spell critical by 30, and the equip is chance on spell critical. I keep saying spell critical, but spritical, and like combining the two words, pretty cool. Chance on spell critical hit to increase your spell damage and healing by 225 for 10 seconds. And lastly, series gift Shatar Revered. 32 crit rating, 150 healing for 15 seconds. Okay, a lot of trinkets here. So pretty much per every single class thus far, the classic trinkets are extremely strong. However, Ele Shamans are nowhere close to getting prior on most of these, so I would doubt most of you will have them. But if you happen to get lucky, then I'm happy to tell you that Mark of the Champion and Nels can be used into T4. Okay, Mark of the Champion can be used on anything that's undead or demons. That's all but 4 bosses in Karazhan. That's more than half of Black Temple. That's more than half of that's most of Sunwell Plateau, really. So this is gonna get a lot of use. Okay. Marks and Nels is a good hit trinket. They can be used in the T4. Restrained Essence is very good as well, like I said. However, Icon of the Crescent is a direct upgrade from it. As for if you need Nels tier or Blood Gem, that's going to depend on your hit. If you need, I doubt you're going to need Blood Gem. If you need Blood Gem, there's your hit trinket with the on use. If you need some hit, but not all of it, use Nels tier. Okay. That's all going to depend on your hit. In the meantime, while you're waiting for your badges for Icon or Quags to drop for you, just use the rep or the rep for Scryers. Feel free to pick your choice of classic trinkets to have fun with. You can go ahead and pick up Shafars if you want to. This is a good trinket. You're going to replace that all. Pretty much, you want Quags, you want Icons, right? Obviously, use whatever until you get that. There's so many options on trinkets. It's not really like a set in stone. It's all about your hit. You know what I mean? It's all about your hit. Anyway, keep pushing. On to weapons. Almost done, guys. Out of 2 out of Nax, the End of Dreams, 13 intellect, 13 stamina, 95 spell damage, 5 MP5. And then out of Nax, you have Midnight Haze, 20 stamina, 12 intellect, 85 spell power. And lastly, out of BWL, oh, I'm going to say this wrong, Locomir. I'm not going to say the rest of that. I'm not sure why that's in there. I'm going to call it Locomir or Loc, 18 intellect, 8 spirit, 10 stamina, and 84 spell power. On this side, we have the TBC Gladiators Gavel. So here's the tricky part. Here's the very tricky part. Much like all the other classes, the classic weapons are ass. You will end up replacing them, okay, while you're leveling, most likely. As for what you replace when you for T4 Pre-BiS, in order of importance, the Gladiators, Gavel, or Spellblade. Really, since it's a dagger, you can use this. You can use both of them. Same stats. This will be your Ultra BiS. However, this will depend on if it's available at launch, and it's also a pretty hard farm, taking time, arena points, and rating to obtain. And for that, we're just gonna get rid of it. Next, Eternium Runeblade, 19 intellect, 21 crit rating, and 168 spell damage. While good, is suggested that you never worry about this. It's very, very expensive, and you should be spending all your money on your crafted gear. But if you can get a guilty to craft you for cheap, then lucky you. Next up is the realistic Pre-BiS that you're going to use for lower city rep exalted, Gavel on Unearthed Secrets, 24 stamina, 16 intellect, 15 crit rating, and 159 spell damage. And lastly, just some 2 rinky dinks that'll tide you over. You're going to use one of these, whichever one you want, until, so you're dropping your classic weapon. I would go for this one because it's from a normal, not a heroic. Same exact stats. 12 int, 11, I mean, pretty much the same. 12 int, 11, or 12 stamina, 11 int, 20 crit rating versus the 16 hit rating, both at 121 spell power. So if you need to hit, go ahead and go for this one. If you need to crit, pick up this one. Either way, you're just holding off. You're going to drop these for this until you can get your Gavel Unearthed Secrets, and that is all you need to do for that. All right, my brothers, Offhands. At a Nax, Cypherian's Life Die, 12 stam, 8 intellect, 26 spell damage, 14 crit rating, and 8 hit rating. Pretty broken. AQ Royal Scepter of Veclore. This is 9 int, 10 stam, 14 crit rating, 8 hit rating, and 20 spell damage. On the TBC side, we have 33 badges. Masteros Honor Shield. This is 4,600 block, 4,600 armor, 115 block, 16 stamina, 17 intellect, 21 crit rating, and 23 hit, spell power. The other shield out of Shadow Lord's Normal. This is 20 int, 20 int, 23 spell power, and 5 MP5. We have an offhand Lamp of Peaceful Radiance out of Arc Normal, 13 stamina, 14 intellect, 12 hit rating, 13 crit rating, and 21 spell damage. And Mechanar Normal, you have 12 stam, 15 int, 19 crit rating, and 21 spell damage. And lastly, 25 badges. Khadgar's Knapsack has nothing but 49 spell damage on it. Now, offhands are interesting. Okay, the classic offhands are insanely good. Both of them are strong and are very, very viable to walk in the T4 with. Okay. Obviously, good luck getting either of those offhands in a classic due to the pryos, but if you get one of them, touche, then you know where to go, okay? Now, on the TBC side, if you do have either of these classic pieces, if you do not have either of these classic pieces, I'm sorry, your BiS will be hands down this shield, okay? These are BiS. Classic is BiS. But if you don't have that, go ahead and run with the shield, all right? Assuming you're hit capped and you're not hit capped, and if you're not hit capped, then go ahead and use this Lamp or Peaceful Radiance, okay? Which is very easy to get. Khadgar's Knapsack was added in 2.1 and is good. It's just missing some crit rating. But either way, the spell power is nice. You just have other items that you could spend those badges on, like your shield, for instance. Okay. Last and least, Totems. Nothing to say here. The TBC Totem is just the exact same thing, just 22 more damage on the Chain Lightning. All right. Pretty simple. You know what I mean? Nothing much to say there. Just a major direct upgrade. Get it and pump. And my guys, that's it. That's it for this video. I really hope it helps somebody out there as they plan ahead for TBC. I don't know much about Ele Shamans or anything besides Warlocks. That's why I have help for these. Please don't flame me if I'm wrong with anything. Just hit me in the comments what I was wrong about, or if you guys could find any more items, all right? Let me know. Also, every week we do a TBC, the official TBC podcast called The Dark Portal, where we deep dive everything that has to do with TBC, from classes, raids, top tier guests. A link to it will be in the description below. And of course, you can find me over on Twitch at twitch.tv/cricksgaming_. Happy holidays and peace.